Hi computer scientists, Mr. Stafford here, and today I wanted to show you Unit 1, Lesson 2, Java Lab. Over here on the left hand side it says Investigate and Modify, and what we want to do is run the program by clicking the orange Run button at the bottom of the screen. We need to observe what the program does and then make the following changes to the program. So run the program, and after each change, observe the results. So we'll run it down here, and we'll see in our console information that's pertinent to running our program. So first it was connecting, and then it says exception. The files you have provided do not include any .java files or are all empty. So that's the error that we got when we ran our program. And then what I want you to do is think about what caused that error. So if we look at our files up here at the top, it says myneighborhood.java. And what we can do here on step 2, it says change the name of the file by clicking the arrow on the tab and then choosing rename, and it wants us to enter myneighborhood.java. And we can actually copy that so there's no chance of us misspelling anything. And I'm noticing, so it says for the file name, and then run the program again and determine if it's going to fix the error, and then why we think that happened. So I'm seeing the only difference between what I have now, my neighborhood, and my neighborhood, is capitalizations of the M and the N in the file name. So I'm going to rename it, and then I'm going to paste in my neighborhood with capital M and N, and it asks me to rerun the program. It's connecting again, and then it says the files you have provided do not include any .java files or are all empty, and that's the same error that we got last time. And so then it's asking me to change the name of the file again, and then this time enter myneighborhood.java with a capital M and a capital N. So again, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to clear the console as well, and then I'm going to go back and rename it. So in Java, whenever we have a file name, we need to include the .java. Here's also something that's standard convention. It's not a hard and fast rule, it's just conventional. We capitalize the first word in our class name or in our file name, and any other name or any other word in the name coming afterwards, we also capitalize it. Again, the capitalizations are conventional, not a hard and fast rule. So I'm going to rename it, I'm going to rerun it, and see if anything happens. And I'm noticing that my painter has started over here. Okay, step number 4 says add the following code where indicated in the program, and then run the program. What happens, and then why do you think this is happening? So again, I like to copy and paste just because I mistype some things every now and again. And so the over here in our editor, I see that I have a comment, and it even tells me line 15 is a comment. So underneath that, add the code below. It says mypainter.move, and I'm going to run it. It's connecting, and then I have another exception. So it says can't find symbol mypainter.move. Okay, so the symbol, variable mypainter, location, class my neighborhood. This is giving me some more information about the file that I'm in. So the location is this class, my neighborhood, and we see that the symbol variable my painter. So on line 16 where I added my painter, that's got the same capitalizations, lowercase m, lowercase p, but I'm seeing up in my code on line 6, the only other term, my painter, has a capital P. Okay, so that's going to kind of foreshadow our step number 5, but let's read this about the comment on line 15. Lines that start with 2 slashes are comments and are ignored when the program is run. So I can add another comment that says this is going to be for humans. It's not for the computer. It doesn't change anything how this runs, and you'll see I still get the same error. I haven't changed anything in the actual code. I just added another comment. So as I go along, I'd like to add some comments to leave me some notes. Okay, Step number 5 says change the line you added to my painter with a capital P. That's where it is. And then it asks if it fixed the error. I'm going to clear the console, run it, and we see that it's compiling. No issues so far. And then it's starting my painter, and my painter actually moved. Okay, and just so you know, you can slide it so that the painter moves a little bit faster for next time. Let's finish and move on. Level number 2, again, asks us to investigate and modify, run the program to observe what it does, and then make the following changes to the program. Run the program after each change to observe the results. Okay, I'm going to run it, and as it's running, I'm just going to take a look at this file. So the file is myneighborhood.java. Okay, so it's named correctly. It has this similar code to last time, right? It's asking it's creating a painter here, asking my painter to move and then take paint and then turn left a number of times. But in my console, I've got another issue. I've got an exception. So it says myneighborhood.java. Okay, that's the file that I'm in. This is the line 18. So I'm going to go to line 18, and I see that there's just a curly brace there. It says reached end of file while parsing. Okay, not sure what that means just yet. And the exception says we couldn't compile your program, look for bugs, and try again. Okay, so that's the error that we got. It wants to know what error did you get when you ran the program, and what do you think caused the error. And we can see that in the exception, right before the exception, it has this little caret right after this curly brace. So it's telling me step number 2, on line 17, I need to add a curly brace. And then does this fix the error? So I'm going to go to line 17, add a curly brace. And what I like to do is I like to just format this a little bit and make sure that this curly brace from the main method, we'll get into this a little bit more, is on the same, is lined up with this curly brace. Okay, so I'm going to clear the console and see if adding that curly brace fixes my program, and it did. It went a little quick because I sped up my rabbit, and so there's my painter. It created my painter, and it's sitting there on top of the bucket. And it wants to know, does this fix the error? Why do you think that it happened? And so what we need to keep in mind is that on line 3 here, we have this public class myneighborhood. We'll talk about classes later, but just accept the necessity of this line. And also know that myneighborhood is spelled the same way as our file name, myneighborhood.java. Okay, so I want you to keep that in mind. And also on line 4, I have this public static void main, parentheses, string, open hard bracket, close hard bracket, args, end parentheses, and then open curly brace. By the end of the course, you'll know what every single one of those words mean. But for now, again, just accept the necessity of having to have those words at the start of our program. Okay, so we have this open curly brace on the class header. Okay, I'm going to call number 3 the class header. And then our main method header on line 4, we also have another curly brace. And you'll notice, I'm going to wheel down just a little bit, when I click line 3, this curly brace is highlighted. Line 18, that curly brace is highlighted. If I do that on line 4, the curly brace is highlighted on line 17. So know that we need an open curly brace for the class, an open curly brace for the main method, and then matching closing curly braces for both of those, class and the main method. And all of our commands exist within the curly braces of both the class and the main method. Okay, so let's flow on with the instructions. It says add the following code where indicated in the program, and then run the program. It wants to know what happens and then why we think it happens. So again, I'm going to copy this, and we're on step on this, under this comment, to do number 4, add the code below the comment. So I'm going to add it there. I'm going to run it, and we get another exception. Okay, so it's telling me line 16, I have an error, semicolon. Okay, expected my painter.move, and then this caret is kind of pointing right after the word move. Okay, and it said that we couldn't compile our program. So step number 4 says change the line that you added to my painter to my painter.move, and I'm seeing the only thing that's different with what I pasted here and what it's asking me to paste now is an open and close parenthesis. Okay, it asked me to run it. I'm going to clear my console and run this one more time. And I still get an error, and it's that same exception. It's that same error. It's asking me to add a curly brace. Excuse me, add a semicolon at the end of the line. And I'm looking at all the other lines except for, the main method and the class header. The rest of these lines from line 6 to line 13 all end with a semicolon. So let's get in the habit that 9 times out of 10 our commands are going to end with a semicolon. We'll learn some other structures throughout the year where that's not always the case, but for now, let's try to remember to put a semicolon at the end of our lines. I'm going to clear the console, run and see if that fixes it, and it does. Okay, very good. That's the last step for this bubble. I'm going to go ahead and click Finish. Now this level is a check level, okay? It says this program is supposed to make the painter move forward 1 space, but it has an error. Which of the following do you think is causing the error? I want you to take a look at this level. I've already done this. I need to run it. And it will, after you select what the issue was, you can now go ahead and click Finish. But keep in mind what happened here. All right, the last level that I'm going to walk you through is level 4. So it says you've learned about Java programs. Contain a file with 2 core components, a class header and a main method. And so it says in my console.java, that's this file, it wants us to write the class header and main method. Now, if you can't remember from the previous levels, right, it might be hard to if this is your first look, we have this hint here that says show me how, okay? It says a class header and a main method are structured as, and then here it is, okay? So you can actually copy and paste this if you want to, okay? But also note, it says be sure to replace class name with the name of the Java file. If you want to copy and paste it, go ahead. If you want to practice typing this out, which is what I recommend that you actually feel this and type it out. This is what I'm going to do, okay? We're going to put public class and then the class name, okay? It says be sure to replace class name with the name of the Java file. So the class name should be the same name as this file. The file type is Java, but the name is my console. So I'm going to say my console, again, capital M, capital C, that's conventional, open curly brace, and then the main method signature. So I need public, static, void, main, capital string, open and closed, hard brackets, args, another set of curly braces, and I'm going to run this. Make sure I don't have any errors. And that's it. Again, with all of these words, public, class, public, static, void, all of that, we will learn what that all means. But again, just accept the necessity of it. And that's it for Unit 1, Lesson 2, Java Lab.